can't imagine what a world would be. I can't imagine what a world would be. I can't imagine what a world would be without you.
G'day guys, my name's Dave and welcome to another Guitar Zero to Hero song tutorial. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play Can't Imagine by Shawn Mendes. For the basics, you'll need your guitar in standard tuning and you'll need a capo on the 3rd fret of your guitar. Now, if you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitarzerotohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you want to improve on your finger picking, then check out GZ2H Premium, which is my complete step-by-step guitar course. Let's jump into the lesson. Okay, so let's start with our finger picking basics, and your thumb will take care of the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings, and your index, middle, and ring finger will take care of the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings respectively. Ideally, they shouldn't pluck any other strings other than the ones they've been assigned to. Now, this song is actually quite easy because there's just 2 main sections that we need to learn, and then everything else is more or less a variation of that. Now, the way that Shawn Mendes plays this in the recording is in a very freestyle manner, and he's always mixing up the picking patterns. So there's nothing consistent that he's playing, he's always mixing it up. So having said that, I'm not going to teach you everything he plays note for note, because that actually doesn't teach you much, that just kind of tests your memory. What I'm going to actually do is simplify it and going to show you the structure behind it, and it's going to be very close to what he's playing, but this is going to be better for you to understand how the structure of it actually works, and then you can add your own flair into it if you want to and play it more freestyle like Shawn if you want to do that in the future. So let's start with the intro, and we're going to start with a D/G chord. So it's a D chord like this, but you'll actually need to take your thumb and reach it over the top to hit the 3rd fret relative to the capo on the 6th string. Now you don't need to reach over a whole lot in order to hit that 3rd fret, just the slightest amount, and then you should be able to push down that. Now let's talk about our typical picking pattern here for the intro, which is also going to be similar to the chorus. So we're going to start with a pinch with the bass note and the 2nd and 3rd strings. And then we have a run of 5 notes. So we're going to constantly be alternating between the bass note and some of these higher notes. So we're going to start with the bass note, 1st string, bass note, 3rd string, and back to bass note. So those 5 plucks. And together with the pinch. So that's our typical picking pattern. But what I want you to sort of understand is that the way Shawn does it is that he kind of mixes it up. He doesn't necessarily always play that exact picking pattern, but the timing is always going to be the same. So I could just mix up the strings that I'm playing, but as long as the timing's the same and we're plucking notes from this chord, then it's all good. So for example, I could mix up the picking patterns. So I would start with the pinch, but I would mix up those higher notes that I'm playing. I'd always be alternating on the bass note, but I can mix up what I'm doing with these higher notes. So something like that. So that's what I want you to understand. The timing here of the picking pattern is more important than the actual strings you hit. But moving forward, I am just going to be using that picking pattern that I showed you earlier. So, and then for our next chord, it's the D/F sharp. So we're just going to need to move our thumb down 1 fret, but keep our D shape where it is. And we're going to be using the exact same picking pattern. So the pinch, then bass note, 1st, bass note, 3rd, bass note, and together. And then for our next shape, we don't need our thumb anymore, so you can lift that. Lift your middle finger, slide your index finger just down 1 fret. So now it's the 1st fret of the 3rd string. Now this is based around an E7 chord shape, and we're going to play 1 picking pattern here. And then to end this intro, we're just going to go to an A7. So you can slide your ring finger down 1 fret and put your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and then just strum with your thumb from the 5th string to the 2nd string. And that's it for the intro, which sounds like this in total. So that's it for the intro. Now we get to the chorus. Now the chorus is essentially identical to the intro, except our A7 now has a picking pattern. So that A7 picking pattern is going to be similar to the picking pattern for the other chord shapes. So we're going to start with a pinch for the bass note, 3rd and 2nd strings. Our bass note in this instance is the 5th string. So we're going to pinch and then bass note, 1st, bass note, 3rd, bass note. So that's it for the A7 and all together for the chorus. As I mentioned before, you might hear Shawn play different notes or different strings when he's playing it, but that's just because he's doing a more freestyle thing. But the main thing to really note is that those chord shapes are what are important and the timing of the picking pattern. And next we get to the verse, which is really simple. So we start with a D, so we don't need our thumb here, it's just a regular D. Now for this particular picking pattern, we're going to start by pinching the bass note, 2nd and 1st strings together. So the bass note's the 4th string, and then we have a 5-note run. So bass note, 3rd string, bass note, 1st string, bass note, and together with the pinch. And then we're going to go to a D augmented. The way Shawn does this, he keeps his fingers where they are, but he lifts his ring finger, moves it up 1 string, and the pinky finger comes onto the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. He keeps his index finger where it is though, because we will need to go back to a D after this D augmented. So the D augmented looks like this, and we're plucking the exact same picking pattern. And the verse in total. And you just keep repeating that for the verse. Now, the next section that we need to learn is the last chorus, and there's a bit of a variation here. So there's 2 lines of tab here. Now, what we're going to do is play a D augmented /G. So think about our regular D/G. Now turn that D into D augmented like we had in the verse. So we're going to play this shape. Now a picking pattern here. Again, you can create your own as long as the timing's the same, but this is what I'm going to be moving forward with. So a pinch on the bass note, 2nd and 1st strings. And the 5-note run will go bass note, 3rd string, bass note, 1st and 2nd, and back to bass note. So. And then we'll go to a D augmented /F sharp. So it's the same, but you just move your thumb down 1 fret. Then we're going back up to the D augmented /G for another picking pattern. And then we're going to a regular D/F sharp, and we're playing that for 1 picking pattern. So the first line of tab. For the second line of tab, we're going to go back to our D/G, 1 picking pattern here. D/F sharp for 1 picking pattern. Our E7 for 1 picking pattern. And then go to our A7 and just pinch that. And that's it for the last chorus, which sounds like this. Now the final thing to learn is the outro, which is sort of just based around the chorus, but I'm mixing up the picking pattern a tiny bit, just making it a little more true to Shawn Mendes' outro. So we start with the D/G, starting with a pinch on the bass note, 1st and 2nd strings, and then the 5-note run goes bass note, 3rd string, bass note, 1st and 2nd and bass note. And then we go to D/F sharp, we start with a pinch, bass note, 3rd, bass note, 2nd, bass note. So go to our E7, do the exact same thing there, except we're going to add an extra 1st string to our 5-note run. So it's a 6-note run, which sounds like this. And then we're going to go to our A7, we're going to pinch this, so 5th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. And then we're gonna go 5th string first, and then 4th, 3rd, 2nd. Hold that out. So that A7. And then end the song with the D. So the outro. And those are all the parts that you need to learn for this song. Again, as I mentioned, you don't want to really be learning this song note for note the way that Shawn Mendes does it, because he's playing in a very freestyle way. And if you do want to learn it note for note, that's all well and good, but that's just going to be testing your memory and not really teaching you the structure behind it, which is what's most important, the structure and the timing. So now I'll be doing a full playthrough of the song, and I'll have a vocal track on top for some context. A big thanks to my friend Eric for his awesome vocals. Feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to, practice, play along to, and see how you go.
Without you, I'd always be alone. I'd always be alone.
Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this lesson, then I know you'll absolutely love these other lessons too. So hit the link here, or if you want to grab a copy of my free guitar ebook, then head over to guitar0tohero.com or click the link here. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.